let me show you something. This property right here, 4.5 acres, Arkansas, $9,000. At first glance, this actually looks like one of the better deals we've seen so far. But then I pulled up the map and everything changed. And if you were about to buy this, you may have never caught it. If you're new here, I'm Kevin. Most folks call me Paw Paw. And in this series, we're putting real land listings through a real evaluation process to answer one simple question. Can a regular person still find affordable land that actually works? All right, so here's what we're looking at. This one's priced at $9,000. It's 4.5 acres and it's out in Franklin County, Arkansas. Now right away, that's already checking a few boxes for a lot of people. It's not crazy expensive, it's not tiny, it looks like it's on a regular road, and it's not out in the middle of the desert or deep in the mountains. It's in a part of the country where people actually live. And when you start looking through it, nothing really jumps out as a problem. There's no big warning signs, no obvious stay away from this kind of language. Then you get to the aerial view, and this is where it starts to feel even better. You've got a mix of open ground and trees, and it looks like there's at least some space that you could potentially clear, maybe tuck something back in the woods for privacy. And I can zoom out a little here, and we see we're pretty close to several small towns, Walmart, you know, the essentials. And honestly, this is the kind of property where a lot of people would stop right here, and they'd start imagining what they could do with it. I mean, you can picture it, right? Maybe a small cabin, a shed conversion, something simple tucked back off the road. And that's exactly why this matters, because this is the kind of listing that pulls people in. It feels affordable, it feels doable, and at first glance, it feels like it might actually work. But then there's one line in the description that caught my attention. Mainly wooded in low-lying area. Now that doesn't automatically mean that there's a problem, and this is important because a lot of land listings will use vague language like this. But when you've looked at enough of these, you start to recognize certain phrases, and low-lying is one of them. It's one of those terms that sounds harmless, but it can mean a few different things. It could mean the land sits lower than the surrounding area. It might hold water after rain, or in some cases it could be in or near a floodplain. And the key here is you don't assume, you verify, because this is where a lot of people get into trouble. They see something that looks good, they don't quite understand what a phrase like that implies, and they just move forward. So anytime that you see wording like this, low-lying, seasonal water, wet weather creek, that's your signal to stop and go check the maps. So that's exactly what we're gonna go do next. All right, so let's take a look at this on a flood map. Now you can use a flood risk tool, you can use FEMA, you can use a county GIS, they'll all show you some version of this. So here's our property right here. And now look at this. All of this blue, this entire area around it, that's showing as a flood risk area. And if you step back for a second, you can see what's really going on here. This is the Arkansas River down here, and all of this land around it is part of that floodplain system. So what looked like a nice mix of trees and open space is actually low ground right next to a major river. And the key point is this, the property isn't just near the floodplain, it appears to be sitting right inside it. And this is the kind of thing that can turn a $9,000 deal into a property that's much harder to use than it looks. This is where the whole evaluation starts to shift, because up to this point, nothing looked obviously wrong. But this one map changes the entire picture. Now that doesn't automatically mean that the land is useless, but it does mean a lot about this just got more complicated. So we're going to slow this down for a second, because floodplain is one of those words that sounds simple, but the impact is anything but simple. In a lot of areas, if you're building in a floodplain, you can't just put a structure directly on the ground. You may have to like elevate the home or bring in fill dirt to meet specific county requirements just to get approval from them. And right away, that's going to add costs, and it's going to make it more complex. Not impossible, but definitely not simple. Now this is where things get real, because for most people, this is where the deal either works or it doesn't. If the ground stays wet or the water table is too high, the property may not pass a perk test, depending on the soil conditions. And no perk test means no traditional septic system. And if you can't install septic, that can limit what you're able to live in on that land depending on local rules. There may be alternatives, but they're more expensive and not every county will allow them. Now let's say you can build, and if you're in a mapped flood zone, you may be required to carry flood insurance depending on how the land is classified. And this is something a lot of people don't think about because it's not a one-time cost, it's an ongoing thing. And that could mean hundreds of dollars a year, sometimes over $1,000 depending on the risk. And when you're trying to live simply and keep your expenses low, that can obviously matter because now that cheap land may not be as cheap as it first looked. And then there's just real life, like what happens after heavy rain. Can you get in and out of the property? Does water sit on the land? Does the ground stay soft all the time? Because even if something works on paper, you still have to live there, and land that floods or stays wet can make that a whole lot harder than people expect. So when you take all of that together, this isn't just a small detail. This affects whether you can build, how much it costs, and how usable the land really is. And this is exactly why checking something like a flood map before you fall in love with a property is so important. So here's another line that's worth noting. There's no physical address listed for the property. And that might not sound like a big deal, but it can be. Now again, that doesn't mean it's completely a bad deal, but it does mean that you need to verify like access, and you need to verify location, and you need to confirm what you're actually buying. So when we run this through the full process and we check the physical concerns like the floodplain and septic viability, then we add in the potential financial hidden costs with site prep and insurance, this is where we land on this. The property looks affordable, it looks usable at first glance, but once you actually evaluate it, for most people trying to build simply, this is probably going to be a tough property to make work. And this is exactly why we're doing this series, because listings like this, they don't look like a problem until you know what to look for. If you've ever found yourself scrolling land listings and you're wondering if something might work, but not quite sure how to tell, hey, follow along with me because we're going to keep putting these properties through a real process and figuring it out together. And who knows, maybe one of these is actually going to pass the test.